got a big win, and it may just be the confidence boost this team needs going into the second half of the season.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson with the AHSA Radio Network. That's me. Jimmy Stein with Bama Online. That's normally him, and he might be here in just a minute, but it's hard to say in these troubling times. Of course, I think he went to the game, so he may not be here. I don't know, but this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. I'll tell you about FanDuel in a bit. I want to thank you everydayers for joining us every day because you're the best. You are. Want to get into this game immediately because, man, there was a lot to be upset about initially, but in the end, there is a whole lot more to be super excited about. I think first and foremost, man, Kane Womack has taken his licks from us, from probably you guys, from everybody, right? And his team played really well today. I know somebody will say, well, their starting quarterback was out. Well, their starting running back was out. All that's true. All that is true. In the end, when you shut out an SEC opponent, it's a deal. It's a big deal. And Missouri hadn't been shut out since 2019. That's 5 years. It's a long time for a program that's not Georgia or Bama or somebody like that. So I think you've got to give Kane Womack his flowers. You've got to say that, hey, he brought enthusiasm today. I sort of like somebody having to hold his shirt to hold him back off the field. I loved at the end when Jalen Milroe went up and spoke to him. Showed a lot of team unity, something we've all been begging for. We've all been begging for this kind of chemistry to develop. And so I think we need, when it shows on the field and on the film, we need to applaud it. And even if they, as A.J. Evans says, even if they had their quarterback, I think they still would have lost. I agree. That guy was hitting his hand on every helmet he could possibly hit it on. But nice win, 34-0. I love the fact that the starters went back out there to preserve the shutout. Love that. A lot of other folks to be excited about. Bray Hubbard, number one. This is the guy that look, I don't, he's not better than Keon Sabb. I don't believe that. But I love that he got a pick. He almost had another one. He felt like the kind of guy who already knows the defense well enough. Now, still some problems with the defense, sure, but I think he knows the defense well. And I don't think we're going to miss Keon Sabb as much as I thought. Now, that may change when we play LSU and they have a much more pass-oriented offense. It may very well be different. Totally get it. And, yeah, there were a lot of bad passes from Drew Pine. He was, as I said on Twitter, he's throwing more picks than a kindergarten room full of sinus infections. I mean, he had a lot of picks. But Bray Hubbard, really strong game. Another guy that's not going to get a lot of love. And he should, because this is a guy I've been wondering about. And that's Graham Nicholson. Making 2 long field goals, straight down the middle, beautiful-looking field goals. These weren't things that sort of eked over the goalpost or anything like that. Nope, he kicked them well, and they looked like they could have been good from a much further distance. So I feel like Graham Nicholson is a guy that we need to talk about as really showing up in this game. Justice Haynes may be maybe a coming out moment for him. Low man wins, and Lord knows that the low man win on that one-on-one situation he had on his nice touchdown run. Also got to give Ryan Williams some credit on that because I thought he did just enough to get in the way of the defender without putting himself in harm's way from some kind of, trying to be a hero and make some crazy block. Because it's bad. Let's also say this. I really want to save this for the for another segment. But the SEC officiating has been so bad. It's so bad. I don't know how much worse it can get. The call on LT Overton when nobody could hear a whistle and nobody ran in and waved their arms like they're supposed to as an official, blowing the play dead, and they end up saying, okay, yeah, he gets a personal foul because the play continued. He was engaged with his man. He had no idea there was no play going on. In fact, I think it was James Smith picked up the fumble and started running because he didn't hear it either. It was so stupid. And then, of course, there's some other calls, but I think at this point it's fair to say the college football is going to have to do something about hiring officials maybe full-time and maybe paying them some kind of nice salary so that during the off season they're working, learning about their craft. They're so bad right now, and the game's so important. There's so much money at stake. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the coaches for them to continuously be this bad. It's every game. Especially SEC. It's every game. It's just god awful, and it's got to stop. I'll talk about it more. I know that some people are probably like, that's too much to talk about it. But Ryan Williams, I thought, had a nice game. He didn't have his best game. He had a nice game. He almost had a fabulous punt return. Jalen Milroe missed him on a wide open pass that again, it's just like the Tennessee game. You miss him on these wide open things, and you're like, okay, well, he probably only would have gotten 10 yards. With Ryan Williams, you don't know. He can do anything. He might teleport. So it's important. I was glad to see Ty Simpson get in there late. I wish that, I thought he had a touchdown run when he kept it on that third down play late in the game. And I thought that if he just breaks it to the outside, I thought he had a touchdown, but he didn't, and that's okay. You live and you learn. Richard Young, nice run. Was anybody else surprised that he got caught, though? I thought he was going to be a little faster. Maybe that is a product of his injury from back, I think, in the Wisconsin game, maybe. So that could be part of that. But I was a little surprised to see him get caught. Jam Miller, I thought he looked really nice. I certainly do want to talk about some of the problems we had in this game, because I don't want this to be just a fluff podcast of, hey, look how awesome we are again. We still got problems. I think everybody who's listening and watching knows that. Alabama still has its fair share of problems. And in fact, they're still not looking much like a playoff team, right? Maybe since it's 12 teams they are, but they're not looking like the playoff teams we're used to seeing. But we get a week off at a great time. And let's see what happens with this LSU game. And that's going to be coming on here in just a second. And I do need to tell you guys about a couple of our great sponsors very quickly. So if you will just bear with me, I would appreciate it. I do want to tell you, number one, about PrizePicks, and I'm going to do that right after I hit this thing. PrizePicks is so much fun. Really have had a lot of fun with it. We appreciate all you guys out there that enjoy PrizePicks. It's the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players, for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. That's crazy. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play with $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select players and projections up to 25% to provide more value for your lineup. So like if they say, okay, Jalen Milroe's going to have 200 yards passing, you can deduct 25% off that. And that's great, part of Taco Tuesday. It's just a lot of fun. Let's say you want to do something with Justin Jefferson from this past week. I bet you his over-under was like 83.5. That's a lot of fun to just try and watch a game and see if he's going to get over-under that. PrizePicks is a skill-based fantasy game, and I'm going to tell you what, it's skill-based. You don't need luck because your skill. I know how good a lot of you guys out there are at picking this stuff on PrizePicks. So go check out prizepicks.com. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege and thank me later. Okay, I think the elephant in the room right now is Jalen Milroe still. Played a lot better than he has. Still got a long way to go. He still seems like a far cry from, say, first half of Georgia, and I don't know what is going on. He apparently was shocked. There was a rumor that he was banged up, right? But I don't know how you watch him and don't think there's something off. There is something off. Maybe he's seeing ghosts because, as somebody else pointed out, Elijah Pritchett needs to get it together. Yeah, Pritchett had a bad game. Caden Proctor didn't have a great game. He played okay, but he gave up that big sack early. And against LSU, that's going to cost you a lot more. So, but in the end, man, Milroe something's not right now. Now, he played better. He definitely did. I think he's going to play a lot better to win in Baton Rouge. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I did want to throw out what is going on with Kobe Prentice. It seems like he finally got some targets. He hadn't really had a lot of targets recently. He finally got some targets. He just didn't make the most of them today. He had some drops. One would have been a first down. It would have been a tough catch, but you got to make that catch. And I think I swear I believe this. I believe this second half, where the team showed a lot of emotion, where you saw Milroe go and hug Kane Womack, again, I'm not trying to read lips here, but it felt like Milroe was saying something to the effect of, hey, I appreciate you, because the defense really made this win happen. I know the offense put up 34 points, but the defense really made this win happen. And I think that maybe people are starting to come together. And boy, I'll tell y'all, I was nervous about this game after the first quarter. I'm sure a lot of y'all were too, but I was really nervous. Like, this week, I don't know that we can get this thing together. And what I was afraid of, it was going to be something like a pick six that was going to lose the game for us. And we just couldn't, find our way offensively. And luckily that didn't happen. But I also was thinking, if we can just win this game and get to the bye week with LSU coming up. LSU's got a big game tonight. I don't even know if I want them to win or lose, frankly. I don't know which one's better for Alabama. I still don't. But if we can just get to this bye week and see what happens, and maybe this week off will help us. Maybe it'll get us all in the right mental state, because I know right now there are a lot of fans. I was active on Twitter. I was upset on Twitter the first half. Second half, I was thrilled to death. So let's see how let's see how we handle this off week. I think this is going to be a very important 2 weeks for Kalen DeBoer. And because I want to see us come out and play really well against LSU, whether they win or lose tonight, being pretty much irrelevant. And, you get by LSU, and then you play a Mercer team, and then you play an Oklahoma team that seems to be falling apart at the seams. And you play an Auburn team. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough because it's always the Iron Bowl. But then you're probably going to have some time because you're not going to be in the SEC title game, I don't think. But again, I want to talk about some more good stuff here too. Justin Jefferson, does it seem like he's just sort of everywhere still? Is anybody else really impressed with him? He made some really, really nice tackles today. I mean, he just seemed to be in the right place at the right time. Whenever somebody's getting stuck really hard, outside of Jahad Campbell's first sack on the attempted flea flicker, which I don't know if I've ever seen a flea flicker on play number 2, but Justin Jefferson was laying the lumber today. He was bending people backwards. Really happy for him. LT Overton, I thought, obviously had a good game. He's coming into his own. We've been wanting to see some of these defensive linemen get a little more active for sure. And the defensive backs, here's the good news. We didn't call their names a lot. Now, again, I'm going to fully recognize that Missouri was playing without a full deck of cards here. There's no doubt. But Alabama's not really playing with its normal deck either, because we have so many freshmen on the backside. You didn't even hear Zay Mency's name called. You didn't hear Jalen Mbakwe was called a little bit, and he went in the locker room. I guess he's fine. I haven't seen anything about him. But you didn't hear, anybody else's name called in the backfield for the most part. Now, you did when Malachi Moore made his interception, and then, of course, Bray Hubbard making his interception. But those are the only times you heard their names, really. And that's good. I mean, it's sort of like being an official. You don't want people to know your name necessarily, because nobody ever says, who's a good official? John Smith. I love having him. No, the only reason they know your name is because they think you suck. So I think that it was good to not hear the defensive backfield's names being called all too terribly often, and I think it's a step in the right direction. And again, we got a big game coming up, and we're going to talk about that all for the next couple of weeks when Jimmy joins me again here before too terribly long. I don't know if he's going to make it in time for this particular podcast, But I do need to tell you guys about FanDuel. FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets. Now, that's guaranteed, y'all, when you place your first $5 bet. That's only at FanDuel.com, which I've said 100 times is America's #1 sportsbook. Want to look at a few other things here from the stat sheet. Milroe only 215 yards passing again. I really thought he was going to have more than that today. I really did. How about, I do like the rushing numbers, though. 271 yards rushing, led by Haynes with a big rush in there. Richard Young was 63. Of course, his long was 62, so that is a little bit deceiving. Milroe ended up with 50 yards. Good for him to get back in the positive, because it looked like he was going to be in the negative. He was getting sacked a lot early. Kendrick Law, 1 carry for 21 yards. He had some nice catches. I tweeted this out. I'm curious if any of y'all feel the same. That even though he didn't really make any, obviously didn't get any points from his attempt on the kick six with the 59-yard field goal, I thought that was a very big-time spark for the team. I thought that play, because he kept the effort. I thought the effort was able to carry over into the second half. I love seeing that. Now, I know he got another penalty later, and I know immediately people were killing him like, can he stop getting these penalties? I don't think that was a penalty. I really don't. I thought it was a bad call, another bad call by the officials. And, I really do. I think it's unfair for him to get called for a personal foul on that, when it felt like people were fighting for the ball at the time. I never saw it hit a Missouri player, so I didn't understand what all the confusion was about. But I thought that was interesting. Going back to the officials for a second, another thing that I just don't understand what even their line of thinking is, when they said Alabama declines the penalty on the punt when the punter got, I thought he was roughed, but they said running into the kicker, I think. So 5-yard penalty. They said Alabama declined it, and then they accepted the penalty on the the kick-catch interference. And I was like, that didn't even make sense. Why would Alabama do that? And they had to have like a 5-7 minute figure it all out thing, and they finally got it right. And people keep saying, hey, as long as you get the call right. But you upset the flow of the game. People lose faith in you. I don't mind officials necessarily making bad calls occasionally. I do mind this consistent bad call, this over-calling, frankly. It has gotten out of control. I want to read a couple of comments out of here. Jacob F. says, we still look terrible. I don't think we still look terrible, man. We had some really good moments. Yeah, there's a lot to pick apart. This team has not played its best outside of 1.5 against Georgia. That's a good thing. We're 6-2. Okay. Lance Hunter says the LT Overton penalty was awful. Totally agree. Couldn't have been just a dumb call. And again, we are 6-2. We do have some areas ready for growth. Okay. But we got a week off. And I look at this, you can now divide the season up a little bit better because you got 2 bye weeks, right? We're in the final quarter of the season. We got 4 games left. We got LSU, we got Mercer, we got at Oklahoma, and Auburn at home. Okay. We got to concentrate on going 4-0 in those. We go 4-0 there, we're in the playoffs. Now, if you want to be like, hey, we don't have any chance in the playoffs, okay, so be it. I'd rather be in the playoffs and somebody tell me I have no chance than be at home and know I have no chance. So I think that's where we just got to concentrate on that. I think we can. I think this team can do it. Couple other things. One other guy I want to throw out there. Alabama's punting has been great. Man, I'm really excited about James Burnett. He is kicking butt, man. I mean, like literally and figuratively. Very, very happy for the way the special teams is in terms of the kicking games, right? Again, on kickoff returns. We only had one because Missouri was shut out, so they kicked it off to us once. And it looked like there was confusion. There was, I don't know if it was Law or Ryan Williams down there with E-Man Henderson. I don't know why. Yeah, I guess I can call him E-Man Henderson, sure. And there was confusion, and E-Man ended up with the ball, and then he only got to the 20. I mean, why don't we just say at this point, let's just doubt, let's kneel it. Let's just kneel it. Let's take it at 25. Because another problem today was fielding punts. That's another problem we have. Where the kicking game's been great, the fielding punts, we're fielding punts way too deep inside our own territory. Now, I know that if we had let some of those go, maybe there would have been a chance that they'd down it on the 1 instead of us getting it on the 7. But, man, I'm willing to take that chance now because we're giving ourselves some really bad starting field position. Missouri is doing a good job of that. One other thing I should throw out there, and I know I'm jumping all over the place. Did anybody else know that Eli Drakewitz was such a jerk? Boy, he was talking smack to like Jahad Campbell, saying you could read his lips pretty easily on this one, saying, hey, I'm missing my starting quarterback or it'd be different or something. Come on, man. Come on. You got hammered at A&M too on the road. You're just not a good road team. Okay, no problem. So anyway, look, that's about going to do it for this particular podcast. I've got a lot going on over here. We got a spend the night company. My daughter and has a spend the night company again. And my daughter and wife went to the Taylor Swift concert in New Orleans last night, and everything's just coming together at once. But you know what? And I did the scoreboard show last night. I didn't get back to Birmingham till 1:30. But you know what? Bama got a big win. I've been so excited. I've been waiting all week for this because I really did feel like Alabama was going to. By the way, some people said I was crazy thinking Alabama was going to win. Like I said, 40-17. Hey, we won 34-0. I wasn't that deadgum far off. In fact, I was pretty doggone close, much closer than the rest of y'all. By the way, A.J. Evans, you should say that. Forgot Emmanuel had a few good plays. The play Jalen Milroe made where Missouri jumped off sides and he still threw the ball. That was fantastic. All right, since y'all are with me, Jimmy has just texted me. I'm going to see if I can get him to join this in just these last few minutes, and we're going to just see if I can invite him here, and then maybe Jimmy can, join us and we can talk for this one last little segment if that's cool with y'all. If 5 minutes with me and Jimmy, that's what a lot of people pay good money for. That's not true at all. But I did just invite him. So let's see what he says. Because I know he'll have some other comments about all this. Again, I want to go back to one other thing that just really made me proud was the way that the defense was so excited to get that shutout. Somebody said, "Where'd you pick up that shirt? I want one." Man, I'll look at it in a minute. Maybe I don't know. I'll look at it in a minute and see. I can't remember where I got it, but I saw it online. I loved it. I love these retro looks. And does anybody else see the Alabama retro shirts and think, God, we had some really bad retro logos? I mean, I love the script, not the script A, the block A with the elephant coming through it. I think that's cool. The problem is, it is like it's very difficult to find it done right. And now Jimmy Stein joins us. And super happy to have him. Didn't know we'd have him. And I've gone live. Jimmy, we're going to finish this up. This isn't going to be long. I'm having you. But are you at house? What is going on?
Yeah, I am. And I thought it'd be lighter in here. Hold on.
But we can't hold on. We don't have enough time to hold on. You got to come back, bro.
Hold on. Great live show. Great live. I thought I had plenty of light. I was wrong.
You were definitely wrong. Boy, by the way, Vandy just lost to Texas, but they only lost by 3. I'm telling you, the Vandy loss ain't going to keep us out of the playoffs if that's what happens. I mean,
well, no. I mean, I think the playoff situation to me is extremely simple. And here's the complicated part. The simple part is if Alabama wins out, they're in. I don't know where people get this idea that Alabama wouldn't be in because of the loss to Vanderbilt. If Alabama wins out and finishes 10-2, they are without question in the playoff. And how do I know this? Well, I'm playing the numbers and I'm playing the odds, but I went back and looked, as a lot of people look at, like, okay, what's happened in the past several seasons if at the end of the year you create a 12-team field with this format? And And when you do that and look over the course of several seasons, a lot of patterns emerge. And one thing that's completely clear is a 10-2 SEC team is in. A 10-2 SEC team is in. I don't think there's ever been a year where a 10-2 SEC team is out. So 10-2 puts you in. Doesn't matter that the loss is to Vanderbilt. That means nothing. Now, here's what's interesting. What about 9-3? So many of you out there right now are going, no, 9-3, you're not in. You're probably correct. But where we'll differ a little bit is don't be 100% certain. Be more like 90% certain. I do think a 9-3 team might get in. And what I'm willing to predict, guys, is you could be 9-3 and just barely miss. That's going to happen too. My prediction that I'll just lay out there right now, guys, is the team that just misses the playoff or a team maybe 2 spots out of the playoff will be 9-3. That a 9-3 is going to put you in the mix.
All right, Jimmy, I hate to do this, but for whatever reason, we don't have a great connection, and I was going to call it a night anyway. So let's call it a night. We'll do a podcast tomorrow. Everybody's super excited. Let's go enjoy this win. Everybody go out and get you a high noon and chill out. And we will see y'all tomorrow. And until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.